Hi and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. So let's see what messages would like to come through today. And this beautiful day, whenever you find this reading, will be the perfect time for these messages to come through. We're asking what messages do you need to know today? And I feel that one wants to come. We've got butterfly. Butterfly. Transformation, joy, beauty, transience. And this feels like a really special kind of butterfly. So I'm wondering if this is referring to you and the nature of a situation that is perhaps transient. In other words, something that flutters in and it could be, usually, I mean, because it's a butterfly, I'm thinking it's very beautiful. Maybe person, maybe memory, something that's coming in today for you to understand its message, for you to recognize a message that's needing to be brought to you. And the fact that it's transient means it's extra special because there's something there in it for you to see that is especially important today. And I kind of feel that it's something you've been needing to see or have even not wanted to see, but it's important. It's important that you see. And you know, this reminds me of there's a special kind of hummingbird with these beautiful tail feathers, and they're quite rare and they're quite beautiful, and it's not very often that you see them pictured actually. And I saw them once. I'd never seen them before, and they're incredible. They're so beautiful. And I wonder if this is referring to you actually, because I feel like this is your energy. This is your energy, this energy of a pure heart, meeting people in a place where you kind of expect them to meet you. And I'm sort of getting the feeling that this isn't always your experience, you know, that you don't always get the same back that you put out to people, that you're not always receiving the same joyful expression or exuberance, or maybe it's your willingness to be adaptable and flexible and friendly and happy, even when situations could actually make you show the opposite front. But I'm sort of feeling that you're being met sometimes with a stubbornness and an inflexibility that surprises you because of your innocent nature. And there's this sense of, you know, you don't understand why somebody behaves that way with you because you're so freedom loving, you're so open. I think that's the word. You're so open, you're so open-hearted, you're so pure in your intentions. You don't mean any harm. Now that doesn't mean that you don't necessarily upset people, because of course we can't control how others respond to your nature. You can't control that. And you know, if you are needing to be a mirror to somebody and it's something they don't want to see in the mirror, then of course they're going to respond to you or react to you in a way that maybe doesn't feel favorable to you. It doesn't feel nice because you weren't expecting that. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that there needs to be clearance. There needs to be clearing. I'm hearing those beautiful bells, you know, the chimes, the wind chimes. And it's that like being gone, you know, gone with the wind, sort of here one day and gone the next, you know. And maybe that's what this situation is coming in to show you. Maybe it's somebody is coming in to show you a memory. I think it's a memory of a past situation. So because we're also, at the time of this reading, we're also in Mercury retrograde, which again, that may not be the case for you if you're watching this at a different time, but it's timeless, which means the message is still there, it's still relevant. And in Mercury retrograde, we're often reminded of people, places, situations for a reason, to learn something, to remember something, to relearn something that we didn't quite get the message the first time around, we didn't quite understand. And I'm wondering if, in your case, you are receiving a message from somebody, or receiving a reaction from somebody, or a remembrance of somebody's true nature that isn't quite as flexible as you, that isn't quite as able to just be the same way as you are. Perhaps perhaps they've just not had the same life experiences, and it's made them feel their own kind of protection and their own kind of resilience. That means that they've learned to deal with people in a certain way. They've maybe learned to deal with disappointments in a certain way, or rejection in a certain way, or what they see. But I'm kind of seeing movement again. This is reminding me of wind chimes, and with the spiral energy here, this movement of, you know, things going around and coming around, this sense of energy working its way into the heart of something, the sense of clearing at deeper levels. And all of this does a fine job of helping you actually to move into a deeper remembrance, or a deeper re-emergence. I'm hearing actually a re-emergence. So perhaps this is a lesson for you to, perhaps this is a lesson for you to come to an understanding about the way that you are, and the way that you need to stand in that. You know, you need to just be strong in that. You need to be relaxed in that, peaceful in that, even, you know, peaceful in the understanding of who you are and the message that you come to bring, as well as the message that other people bring to you. So I'm going to bring these cards in, and look, gosh, these are like almost polar opposites of each other. We've got Heaven Sent, and we've got Shock of the New. Okay, so let me put those there first. What is already with you? Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and I'm kind of feeling you're maybe gonna have to let this situation go. It's maybe something for you to release. I think there's a way that this doesn't really bring peace to you. This situation, this person, this circumstance, it doesn't really bring peace to you. There's some element of it being a lot of noise, you know, creating a lot of noise in your head. There's, you know, it's the polar opposite of balance and harmony and peace and tranquility, which, you know, is where your natural state lies. And or if that's not what's happening with the person or the situation or circumstance for you, if that's not what it's bringing up, then maybe it's teaching you how to become peaceful in this. So even when you come up against this situation or person or environment where it feels like it's quite reserved, quite standoffish even, you know, I'm getting that kind of energy, that you are still able to remain calm in that you don't lose your sense of balance when this person, this situation, this thing brings its energy to you. And when that energy comes to you, and it's a bit of a shock, isn't it? It's a bit of a kind of, oh my goodness, you know, why are they behaving like this? Why is this happening? Why can't they be more like this? Or when I'm like this, why can't they be like that? Or, you know, etc., etc., those kind of feelings. And we've got protection. It's for you to come back into peace. And we've got the butterflies again. I mean, how beautiful. We've got the butterflies again, to allow this to be a transient concern, to allow yourself to bring peace to. The angels want you to bring peace to your mind, to your body, to your situation. They want you to be at peace with it, to be in harmony, in flow, in understanding that everything happens as it's meant to happen, even though it's not the way we want it to be sometimes. And sometimes situations and circumstances can throw us into the unknown, and we're like, oh gosh, well, I wasn't planning for that because I was expecting this, and this is how I wanted it to be. This is what I was expecting. and yet it hasn't quite turned out like that. And I really feel that in that situation, it's like you're being called on to say, well, okay, how can I deal with this in a different way? How can I understand that this is a fleeting situation or shock or disappointment, and what can I do with that to make it more peaceful, to make it more beautiful, to do the best I can with it, and then let it go. So in other words, give what you can give in a reasonable way. There's no need to overgive. There's no need to over-explain. There's no need to overcompensate for somebody else's behavior. If somebody steps back from you or a situation steps away from you, it's not there for you to have to go in and, you know, do everything, you know, give too much of yourself to resolve that situation. It's not there for you to dive in and be the savior necessarily. Maybe it's there for you to see, okay, well, this is how I am, and this is what I would like to do, and this is comfortable for me. It's not going to make me feel less powerful or small. It's not going to affect things negatively if I just take a moment and breathe and take a pause and take a time out and say, okay, what's best now? What is the best thing? Seeing how this is playing out, seeing what's happening here, seeing this discomfort or this shock or this duality, this kind of opposite behavior from how you want or you expect or you're being. What can I do? And how can I speak? You know, we're being highlighted, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the sacral area, the womb, which also represents the self-confidence, you know, the relationship with yourself. Self-confidence maybe is more around the solar plexus, but the sacral is all about your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, you know, how you can use your power, but in a nurturing way, in a loving way, in a protective way, a way that looks after you and your creations, a way that allows you to create from a space of the beauty and the fertility and the aliveness, really, that the universe blesses you with for your situations and for your circumstances and for your life, because you're given these gifts so that you can find your strength, find your wisdom, find yourself. And the fact that we've got strength twice, and even though this is not the traditional message, we've got the strength, we've got the message of strength. You know, we've got the crone here. The crone is the wise woman. She's the woman that's learned, that's come into her power, that's come into her wisdom. And oh goodness, I didn't even realize, look how incredible. These are almost identical, two completely different packs, and yet an almost identical message. And it's almost like it's saying, you know, be the safe space for yourself. Be the safe space for yourself. Yes, be open-hearted. Yes, you've been broken open by these situations. It's been upsetting for you. It's perhaps even been shocking for you. It's been disappointing. It's brought you to a space where you've had to really let go at the kind of level where not everybody is asked to let go. This is almost like a broken open kind of energy, where we've had situations in life that have forced us to be resilient, to be patient, to be calm, to be able to find ourselves in the middle of everything, so that we don't lose our heads in it all. It's reminding me of that famous phrase from Alice in Wonderland. You know, we don't lose our heads. Oh, there's the fairies, that's the confirmation. Yeah, and we've got the 10 of Wands. We've got, you know, however you've been dealing with this situation perhaps in the past, or however this has been affecting you, or whatever this situation actually is, I feel that it's a bit of a burden that's quite a lot to carry. And you know, you can see what needs to be done. You can see what is being asked of you. You can see what is there, but it's almost like you're having to take a minute out of this and pause and say, well, if I look at this from another perspective, if I look at this situation in a different way, how could I change how I respond to this so that it doesn't make me, you know, throw me into despair, or throw me into lots of emotion that mean you can't actually see the way forwards with wisdom in that moment, because you're in your emotions, you know, you're in your feelings. You might be in some kind of inner child memories of some you know, the rejection that may have happened to you, or the abandonment that may have happened to you, or the people pleasing that may have happened to you. And if we're somebody that has a tendency towards people pleasing, it's because you've not been made set to feel safe at some level, at some point in your childhood. Sometimes, not always. This could even be going back to past lives and situations, but usually people pleasers are people that like to please people above themselves, where they almost abandon themselves to please others, are people that have not been made to feel safe, or have not been looked out for in that way. They've not been kept safe in situations where they needed to be, perhaps where they've had to learn that it was safer to appease somebody else and make them happy than, you know, to expect to have their needs met. And this is very much often a childhood wound. So here, if this is what's happening to you, if it's in something like this, and it may not be that exact form, it could be in another way, where it's a different situation, but it's affecting you in a similar way, it's making you feel a similar way, because it will be different for everybody. It's almost like you're being asked to come back and nurture yourself. You're being asked to come back and look after yourself, to be the protector that you need, to be the loving guidance that you need, the voice of reason, the voice of care, the voice of you know, well, is this really fair? You know, is this person really looking out for me and caring about my best interests? Do they really want to work with me? Or, you know, are they just showing me actually that they're not who I thought they were, or this wasn't the friendship I thought it was, or that this situation is not loving for me, or it's not going to look after my needs in the way that I need it to. And I think really some self-reflection is being asked for in this situation. It's almost like there's this pause, and in this pause you're asked to ask yourself, what are you doing here? What is the situation showing you? And if it's come back again, if it's come back round again, then it's because there was some information in there that you didn't quite get the first time round. There was something in there that wasn't quite obvious for you that first time round, or it wasn't really taken on board. Perhaps it wasn't really understood. And this is your opportunity to reach the top of the mountain, you know, to get to that place where there is total acceptance, total peace, total harmony, total relaxation in many ways, because you've now understood something and you've got the strength to get yourself to that place where you can now respond from a different place in you, and a different way. You'll be able to respond to the situation differently. So whatever, as I was saying about the transitory nature of this situation, it may be that this person, place, thing, job, interview, whatever it might be for you, maybe it's not that it was meant to stay, actually. Maybe that it's not that it was meant to be in your life. Maybe it's that it returned to your life for a moment, for you to look at all of this and say, have I learned from this situation? What did I learn from the situation? If I didn't learn from it the first time around, what can I learn from it now? And how can I walk forwards in it in a way that keeps me in my peace, that I'm not self-abandoning, that, you know, that you're using all of the wisdom and the knowledge you've gained, you know, the crone, the wisdom and the knowledge that you've gained to be able to make your wishes to go forwards, whether in this situation or in a different one with somebody else. Because if we can't bring ourselves to a place of understanding, then the universe may throw another situation in our paths again for us to learn it again, and to keep that kind of cycle of going round and round, or feeling like we're going round and round. In truth, we're not really, but this kind of idea of going round and round because we've not actually come to that place where we've learned something and then behave differently. And to trust that, you know, what is already with you is that you have everything you need. You have the insight, you have the ability to change, you have the ability to adapt and to move to a different situation. You have a choice, and you can, you know, you can let go of this. You can let go of this and trust that once you've self-analyzed and you've understood, then you're going to come into, you know, a place of absolute alchemy, a place of absolute order, a place of focus, a place of knowing how to deal with this situation if it should arise again, knowing how to deal with these people if they, you know, behave like this again, and knowing what's for you and what's not for you, and how to deal with that, how to respond to that, so you're not left feeling disappointed, so you're not left feeling as if you've been let down, or as if you're out on your own again, as if you know, have been abandoned again, for example, if that's how it's been feeling. So yes, it's a vulnerable moment for you. Yes, it's a heart opening moment. Yes, it's an eyes wide open moment. But, you know, you're going to come to a place where you can just rest in it peacefully once you have this knowledge and this understanding, and you can move that forward in the way that you act and in the steps that you take for next time. So that is your message for today. I hope it was helpful and healing. I hope that whatever memory, whatever circumstance, whatever has come up for you that has caused you to need to, you know, really take some time to configure what's going on here. I hope that that is as peaceful as it can be for you, and I'm sorry if there has been, you know, some disappointment or hurt along the way, but I'm absolutely certain you are able to pick up the pieces, to know what you have, to cherish and love yourself enough to work with your feelings and your inner child, to actually take you to that place of complete clarity and freedom and peace. Really, when you reach that place, you know that the magic is going to just overspill into so many different areas of life, and including relationships that you may have with other people, because you will be changed by this. And it doesn't mean that your nature changes. You still stay the beautiful, innocent, pure, loving, adaptable being that you are, you know, that's able to be joyfully in the present and work with whatever needs to be worked with. It just means that you're able to have the discernment to know when it's appropriate to give and give and give, and when it's not, and when it's appropriate to do your best to resolve a situation, and when it's time to say enough, I've done enough, you know, I've done my best, and there has to be reciprocation on both sides. These are just examples. It will be whatever your situation is, I'm really hoping that it resolves in a happy way for you, or a peaceful way at least. So it may be you're being asked to let this one go, but what's for you will come for you, you know, it will come with you, will be with you, and you will be able to call it in from that place of surety and certainty once you are strong and you are able to really clearly see the actions, the steps to take. So beautiful ones, thank you for being here. Please do like, share and subscribe my message if you enjoyed this reading. It all helps me, and please do join me in the next reading if you'd like to. I'd love to see you.